Hey guys, welcome back to Ask Me How I Know, and welcome to my recording studio, my office, my little space where it's a sanity saver so that my kids and my husband don't have to tiptoe around the house anymore when I'm recording. It's amazing. It's such a treat. Well, I wanted to talk to you about some of the takeaways that I had with this project. But maybe first I should tell you this room was really, really creepy to me. When we first bought the property almost 5 years ago, I really had a vision for this former laundry room. And it was one of these, I seem to always get a house in my life that has some creepy room. I had one house that had a detached garage that was disgusting and creepy. And literally, I had to go in there with a shop vac and I had to have like the longest attachment on it. And I was like putting it in front of me with a mask on, and it's like, just because there were so many spider webs and creepy, gross things. It was so creepy. And then I had a house that had a really creepy basement. And again, had to go in there with the shop vac and like do that. Well, fortunately, this room did not require that level of shop vac, but it did have an ant infestation and some other creepy things that had to be overcome. But the really cool thing is that I was able to take this room that was dark and dingy, and obviously you can tell, if you're on YouTube, you can tell I still like white walls compared to wood walls. So all the wood walls everywhere in this particular home, I end up painting them white. But there's something so neat that you can take. If you have a vision, then you can repurpose anything. That's really cool. So I came into this space and I had cleaned it out, and I knew it was going to be an arduous process. I just buckled down and got to it, and I start caulking in between these wood slats, and then I'm painting it, and then I'm spackling it. And I mean, y'all, if you're grown-ups, you probably have done it. And sure, I could hire it out. It's really not that big of a project, but there's something really cathartic about the process of taking this and repurposing it and making it shine again. I'm wondering, as always, what do you have in your life that you have maybe not been working on? Maybe you're like, yeah, I'll deal with that later, just not yet. Or maybe you have something just circling about in your mind and you're letting it stay there and you're not addressing it specifically and intentionally. It's still growing cobwebs. You see, like, these thoughts in our heads don't just go away on their own. And these kind of bad attitudes in our hearts, they won't just go away either. In fact, if I continue to leave this room the way it was, it would have become like those other properties where you had to walk in with like the shop vac in front of you to protect you from who knows what. What if we started looking at our minds in that way? What if we started realizing that just because we're not directly addressing something that's idling in our mind doesn't mean that it's shrinking, diminishing, or going away? It's kind of like that, what do they call those? Those little dust bunnies, right? That you have on your floor. If you are not sweeping, you're going to get those dust bunnies. And do dust bunnies ever get smaller, people? Never. They don't. They grow. And I don't even know how they grow. They're kind of like from Star Trek, Trouble with Tribbles. They're like, or Gremlins, I mean, like, they just grow. That's what's happening in your mind. Those things that you're afraid of addressing, they're growing. Even though you're not intentionally, purposefully feeding them or trying to help them grow, they're growing and they're getting bigger. The only way that you're going to get rid of things that you're afraid of in your mind or wrong ways of thinking that are preventing you from success is by specifically addressing them. I want to challenge you this week, all week long, as you're going about your day. I want you to be on a treasure hunt. Yeah, believe it or not, this is like a total treasure hunt. I want you to be hunting for those wrong ways of thinking, the limited beliefs, the self-doubt. I want you to look for the fear. I want you to look for the criticism. I want you to look for all of those things that are holding and weighting your mind down. And I want you to tackle them, acknowledge them. You could even say, and yeah, sometimes I'll tell myself, like, I see you. I see what you're doing, and you can name it. I was listening to something recently. I think it was actually Chris Voss's book, Never Split the Difference, while I was painting this. And he was talking about the part of your brain, the amygdala. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. I've read about this before. And the idea is that it's where fear stems in our brains. And it was so cool. I have told people this, I've lived it. I always tell my children, say it out loud, speak it. Don't let it just stay in your mind. And this proved it. In this book, he was explaining that part of our brain, the amygdala, as soon as we say something out loud, it shuts down that fear portion. So not that you're afraid of your critical thoughts, but maybe you should be. But I want you to this week, just really focus in and find the little areas. Again, it's a treasure hunt, because when you find those, you can clean them and you can repurpose them and you can make them beautiful and you can make them an opportunity for something really great. Kind of like this room. The room still has a little bit of things to do. Obviously, I have nothing fun in here aside from podcasting things, which is super fun, obviously. But I want you to look for those opportunities for you to grow, to free your mind, and to clear out some space. I know it's going to be a little challenging. I get it, but we'll do it together. All right. Until next week, go find your freedom.